Millennials, looking at you, millennials, struggling under mounting credit card debt, the New York Fed finds. Millennials in their 30s sank deeper into credit card debt toward year end. New report found as U.S. credit card debt continues to climb to new heights. Outstanding credit card balances hit a record high of $1.13 trillion in the fourth quarter of 2023, according to new data released last Tuesday from the Federal Reserve Bank of New York, up roughly 5% from 1.08 billion the previous quarter. So,
Trillion.
we're rocking. We're going to increase credit card balances by 20% a year at that pace.
That's a pretty sporty increase. And did you say $1 trillion?
1.13 T.
Yes. Slightly under.
Do you really need to be that specific when you've got a T on the end? Do I need the 0.13?
Probably round that down. It's still too much.
Yeah.
At the same time, the 90-day delinquency rate measure for credit card holders also jumped to 6.36%, up from 4.01 a year earlier. Here's the big thing, OG, that a lot of people are pointing to is student loan repayments just turned back on. And even though everybody's been telling people forever that student loan repayments were coming, the second they hit, the tidal wave of more credit card debt happened.
Yeah.
I think it's time for us to swoop in and help our millennial friends get the budget back in order. What's our first step, OG, if we're one of those people watching Monarch money wherever we keep our money and watching that credit card debt climb?
I'm a big fan of the spending plan. Starting at the beginning of the month with a blank calendar and going through last month's checkbook or last month's, statements of where is all the stuff coming out that we know is going to happen, right? Where's the electric bill, the mortgage, car payment, the minimum payments on the credit cards, the minimum payments on the student loans. What's the number that actually has to happen every single month just to exist, every single month? And then you can start putting in things like, I need to go to the grocery store, and this month I need to, get a new suit for work, or whatever the case may be, right? You can put those things in your calendar. And then I do it just like a normal cash flow statement or a normal accounting, only I don't get real fancy with it. I just start with, February 1st, here's how much money was in my checkbook. And then I do the math of here's how much money is coming out, here's my paydays, and here's how much money is coming in. And here's what I'm going to end with at the end of the month. The trick is if you can convince yourself that you've already planned this in advance, you have a much better chance of sticking to it because your brain doesn't know the difference between something that you've imagined to be true and something that is actually true. So if you can trick your way into planning this out in advance and writing it down and going, at the end of the month of February, I will have $680 left over in my account. And I'm going to use that $680 in this purpose. You can already plan for it. Wait till the end of the month. You have $680 and you snowball it on a credit card bill, or you put it in your emergency fund, or you put it in your Roth IRA, or whatever you're going to do with it. And by doing it that way every single month, you get a real good handle, I think, on what's really going on a month-to-month basis. What's your kind of your bare bones minimum number that you have to have every single month. And it also tricks your brain into not finding other things to spend money on through the month because you've already done that process and your brain's like, nope, we've already spent all our money.
At the beginning of that, I loved how OG said, well, you got to list all the stuff you need, just the bare minimums, just to live that month. And then you can add in things like groceries. Are you on your diet again? Like food's not part of that for you?
No, I just meant the things that are like known to come out on a consistent basis. You know what I mean? Like if you don't have your electric bill and gas bill and water bill set to like auto
rent
pay
payment,
and the
mortgage,
and the flat pay and the mortgage bill, and you know what I mean? Like you can say, okay, I know on the 5th the mortgage comes out. I know on the 10th the water bill comes out, that sort of thing.
Sure,
groceries. Sure. Yeah, I mean, maybe you got to do a ramen noodle week 1 week. It's just what it is.
It is the key to a great budget, though, is trying to lock down those expenses that go up, down, up, down. I like the even utility thing for people that are on a really tight budget.
Absolutely.
Not because you actually save any money. Over the long term, it ends up being about the same. The difference is it's one more thing that you can predict. And if you can get the grocery bill so it's predictable, you can get that utility bill predictable. That's a huge win.
Well, and you guys have talked forever about automate as much as possible. And when you've got that fixed amount, it's super easy to set that automatic payment up when you know exactly how much it's going to be. It's not any more difficult or less difficult, but it's easier on your mind.
I'm glad you brought that up, Doug, because, automation is the key to getting ahead with a lot of this stuff. I'll tell you what the key is, though, when it comes to getting out of debt, is actually the opposite, is spending time thinking about it. Because I feel like, and OG, maybe you can back this up, that or not, that a big problem with being in debt is we kind of bury our head and go, oh, man, if I just don't look at it, maybe it'll go away.
Yeah. I mean, ultimately, all progress comes from telling the truth, right? So you have to just
That's a lie.
Everything. Yeah,
sorry,
that's a lie.
Couldn't help it.
Couldn't resist.
You just have to lay everything out, and it's just you. You know what I mean? You don't have to post the worksheet on the Facebook, on the LinkedIn, on the Twitter,
the MySpace.
I think it's a tweeter.
On the Instagram. You don't have to go last week we were talking about radical budgeting or what was that called? Loud budgeting. I saw that on the Today Show. They were talking about it last week as well. So, you don't have to do that. You just have to be honest with yourself and recognize that it's not an overnight, you're not going to be able to do it overnight to fix it. But in order to put a plan together for how to fix it, you got to have all the data correct. It's foolish not to have an accurate balance sheet or an accurate income statement for yourself. You would expect nothing else from any other business. So why wouldn't you do it for yourself?
We'll talk later about the Today Show using our topic. I mean, of course, after we do a topic, the Today Show wants a little piece of that. So that's obviously fine. But what we really want to talk about, OG, I think, is making this easy, which I think technology can help a lot here. And if you need a budget that's much more locked down, using some tech like Cube Money takes the envelope system and turns it into the modern age. So now they're electronic envelopes. You have only one bank account, but it's separated into cubes, aka envelopes, or YNAB. A lot of people really like the fact that, to your point, taking that calendar out and putting the dollars for next month on the calendar ahead of time locks down the budget. For other people who are naturally maybe a little more frugal, I know Cheryl and I have been using a lot. We say this, they're a sponsor of our show. We've been using Monarch money. But what's great is Monarch just suggested a new budget. Instead of making a new budget, I just hit use Monarch's budget. And it's great seeing these alerts hit where I don't expect them. And what's funny, it gets me back to mindfulness. When I'm at a store and I buy something and then the alert hits, Cheryl and I then have a discussion about, should we have this? Should this really be our true budget for this item?
Well, again, it's not even the big items. It's all the little things that
it's totally little things
that add up. And if you don't dig into it, you're not going to be able to come out the other side. If you're struggling behind, extra payments and interest rates on credit cards have gone up and stuff like that, there's a fix for it. You can solve it. You just have to get all of the data first. And I think the biggest thing is to evaluate where you are. You just have to say, this is where I am. Go from there.